I've often heard it said and sung that life is sweetest when you're young. And kids 16 to 21 think they're having all the fun. I disagree. I say it isn't so. And I'm one gal who ought to know. I started young and I'm still going strong. But I've learned as I've gone along that life begins at 40. That's when love and living start to become a gentle art. A woman who's been careful finds that's when she's in her prime. And a good man when he's 40 knows just how to take his time. Conservative or sporty, it's not until you're 40 that you learn the how and why and the what and when. In the 20s and the 30s, you want your love in large amounts. But after you reach 40, it's the quality that counts. Yes, life begins at 40. And I've just begun to live all over again. You see, the sweetest things in life grow sweeter as the years roll on. Like the music from a violin that has been well played upon. And the sweetest smoke is from a mellow broken in old pipe. And the sweetest tasting peach is one that's zaftig, round, and right. In the 20s and the 30s, you're just an amateur. But after you reach 40, that's when you become a connoisseur. Then it isn't grab and get it, and a straight line for the door. You're not hasty. You're tasty. You enjoy things so much more. For instance, a novice gulps his brandy down. He doesn't understand. Observe a connoisseur, the way he holds it in his hand, how he strokes the glass, fondles it, warms it as he should, smacks his lips, slowly sips. Boy, it tastes good. Life begins at 40. Then it isn't hit and run, and you find it much more fun. You romance a girl of 20, and it costs you all your dough. But one of 40 thanks you. She hates to see you go. And girls of 20, all they want are big men with strong physiques. I don't say that it's bad, but you do get tired of those damn Greeks. Life begins at 40, and I'm just living all over again.
Hello, everyone, and here is to another week that we are heading into. And this week, we are going to stop and just spend a bit of time with a legendary artist who is one of my favorites. And when you look at my artist favorites, my list of people that I love, yeah, it's quite an interesting one. And this lady is probably one of the most interesting. Her name was Sophie Tucker. And Sophie Tucker lived in the 1950s. And she was, interestingly enough, she was a white lady. But her music didn't go down too well amongst the white people. So she would paint her face and her hands black, or brown, and at any rate, so that she could sing in clubs where she was accepted. I just love her. They loved her because of the way that she looks at life and the things she thought and sang about that was always a little bit left of center. And I think we all need to be there. Sometimes I think it could do all of us the world of good to go and visit a little bit left of center. And tell me what you think. Maybe I'm completely nuts. But Sophie Tucker believed that life begins at 40. She always says that people believe that life is sweetest when you're young. And I know that recently in one of the Sunday services I mentioned that they say that youth is wasted on the young. But I think every generation finds their own way of making things happen, finds their own way of enjoying things. And even now, it is so much different to when we were growing up. Well, certainly my generation. We did not have cell phones with cameras on them. So the truth is we enjoyed things so much more. I find the camera generation, the selfie generation, they're so busy taking photographs and looking at how they can take photographs and how they should pose for these photographs that they very often don't even get to spend the time. They don't very often get to make the most of the moment. But Sophie Tucker says, now, you've now gone through life, your kids have grown up, and you were one of these kids. But now, later in life, we've now reached a stage where we become 40. This is seriously middle age. But it's not old yet, so it's a good time. And she says we should make of this a gentle art. So it's interesting when she speaks of that, because how many of us think of our lives as something that is a gentle art, or that we can create a state of gentle art? I know my friend Michelle loves nothing more than to set a beautiful table to invite people into, to invite people to sit at her table and enjoy, whether it is a cup of coffee and cake or a full meal. That is a gentle art. Then my other friend Tony, oh, what a pleasure it is to have tea with Tony. Tea with Tony is magic because it entails beautiful cups, beautiful teapots, lovely cloth over the table, quiet time, gentle music playing in the background, and sometimes talking, and sometimes just sitting, reminiscing quietly together, sipping the tea, feeling the teacup in your hand. You know, a teacup, but a delicate teacup feels 100% different to a coffee mug. Now that doesn't make the coffee mug less appealing and less wonderful, the experience with the coffee mug. Although my favorite coffee mug experience is always going to be one next to a campfire early in the morning with condensed milk sweet coffee. There's just something about it. And that mug that warms your hands as you hold it gently, cuddling it between both hands. Everything about the experience is different. And I know, as I'm talking about this, you are forming pictures in your mind of memories of places where you've been. They say a good man, when he's 40, knows just to take his time. It's very true that younger men don't take their time. They play at being romantic. They play at taking their time. They play at being gentle and kind. But oh my goodness, their minds are always busy. They're always on the run. They're always thinking of the next thing to do. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. They don't take the time to just be slow. Then she goes on to say that when you in your 20s and 30s, you want your love in large amounts. That is so true. We want love to be overt. We want to feel loved. We want to feel hugged. We want to see expressions of love. And men wanting the acknowledgement, wanting to be recognized, they're out there creating ways to love, ways to do things that would show that they love. And yes, it's very true that many of them do this on the fly. So they are showing you that they love you. They're doing all of that. It's not that they're not doing it, but that is that time in their life. And sometimes when people are that young, they can make you feel exhausted by all the efforts that they put in, either as individuals in the relationship or as a couple, for both of them. We need to understand this, because when we become older, and again, looking at what Sophie Tucker says, once you reach 40, it's the quality that counts. All of a sudden, you look at things differently. And I'm a little bit over 40, just a tad. But I think of this weekend that I've just spent with my partner and how we have come to a place where being together, showing love with one another is such a natural thing. It is something that just flows out of our everyday. But neither one of us makes an effort. Neither one of us has to do something to make the other feel loved. It just happens. It just happens. She says the sweetest things in life grow sweeter as the years roll on, like the music from a violin that has been well played upon. And the sweetest smoke is from a mellow, broken and old pipe. And the sweetest tasting peach is one that's mature, round and ripe. I really found this weekend that small things, tiny things, that very often don't really matter to others, now does. It does matter. And I experience things so differently. So differently, because I have learned to take the time. And in having learned that, I share it with other people around me. And Lorenzo and I share soft things. He brings his own softness, his own gentleness, his own enjoyment to working in the garden, being with the animals, sitting with me, talking to me about things that we reminisce about, choices and visions we have for the future. She says, carries on, and she says, in the 20s and 30s, you're just an amateur, but after you reach 40, that's when you become a connoisseur. Then it isn't grab and get it and a straight line for the door. You're not hasty. You're tasty. You enjoy things so much more. When was the last time you were described as being tasty? Yep, that does bring up one or two images. I'm sure that could make you flinch just a tad. But the way you explain things to people, the way you experience things, the way you tell people about experiences you've had, that makes them taste. It makes them experience. It makes them feel what you are talking about. And you cannot talk that way if you do not deliver yourself. Never could you do that. But now, yeah, actually, it's not that strange to be described as tasty because you bring a whole new experience to how other people see things. I'm going to bet you, if you allow yourself a little bit of freedom in how you do and say things, a little bit of tastiness, a little bit of, how shall we say it? Just enjoying stuff. Then you're going to find that your grandchildren are going to revel in the stories you tell them, because you won't hesitate to color in the stories you tell them. Because you don't have to hurry. You've got the time to lie with them. You've got the time to sit with them and tell them stories. You can be with them and tell them stories because time is on your side. She goes on in the song to say, a novice gulps down his brandy because he doesn't understand. Observe a connoisseur, the way he holds it in his hand, how he strokes the glass, fondles it, warms it as he should, smacks his lips, slowly sips. Ah, boy, it tastes good. There are many things we drink that feels and tastes like that, but we don't even notice it. We don't stop. And yet if we reach that stage where we say, I am going to live gently. I am going to take it easy. I now want to live the next part of my life. It's so important because that is an intent. It's an intent that you make. It's an intent that you make to not make every cup of coffee special. I'm not saying that. But when you do have the time, to carve out that minute to really enjoy it. To put it in your heart or your soul where it needs to make everything warm. Because if you don't, you are just going to drift through life. Just drift through life, not make it special. But if you choose, then you share your life with other people who do the same. Isn't it strange how we always do that? We drift towards each other. You want somebody who nurtures you. You want somebody who tastes the goodness of you. Somebody who smells your beauty. And you want to do the same for them. Sophie Tucker says, The girls of 20, all they want are big men with strong physiques. I don't say it's bad, but you do get tired of those damn geeks. A gentleman. A man who is soft and kind. And those aren't just men that you love as partners. Those are men that you encounter in the world. And whether you spend a half an hour with them or half a lifetime, they touch you in gentle ways. They add nuances to your life, layers, just as the different women also. A gentle time. I'm not saying it has to start at 40. It can start at 60. But you know what? It can also start at 20. At 20 you may not spend as much time, but you can have moments of living as if you already have that mature wisdom. That is such a gift. It is such a gift. This is one gift horse you do not want to look in the mouth. Whether you are 20, 40 or 60, accept where you are and start living all over again. Our affirmation for this week is, I delight in the grace of God. Oh, beloved God, again in gratitude, always in gratitude I come to you. I come to you for the grace of your love that we receive in so many beautiful ways. I come to ask you to hear our voices, to hear our hearts as we speak to you, and to have our backs to remind us that every moment is a choice. In every single moment, we know that we can follow your guidance. And that if we become quiet and we choose to live in the beauty of your creation, we will never look back. But we will always have something that is well worth knowing you for. You bring to us the gift of so many sensations. They're there. We don't have to do anything to even create it. But having it available and understanding it, that is a gift that your love brings to us. The sacredness of living, that is the gift that keeps on giving. And when we have that energy living within our hearts and we acknowledge it, then everything we touch, all of it touched by eternal beauty. Vaya con Dios. Beloved God, remind us always that that is the way to go. Namaste.
I've often heard it said and sung that life is sweetest when you're young, and kids 16 to 21 think they're having all the fun. I disagree. I say it isn't so, and I'm one gal who ought to know. I started young and I'm still going strong, but I've learned as I've gone along that life begins at 40. That's when love and living start to become a gentle art. A woman who's been careful finds that's when she's in her prime. And a good man when he's 40 knows just how to take his time. Conservative or sporty, it's not until you're 40 that you learn the how and why and the what and when. In the 20s and the 30s, you want your love in large amounts. But after you reach 40, it's the quality that counts.